Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video, I want to provide you with 4 tips for building trust with your prospects. 4 tips for building trust with your prospects. Now, you might say, James, what are you talking about? What do you mean I need to build trust? How do I know if I have trust or not? Well, it's really simple. Many of you are out in the field, you're trying to make sales, and you feel like people like you, like you're in the friend zone. You know, how many of you have ever been in the friend zone with dating? And so you're in that friend zone, they like you, you connected with them, but when you're like, hey, I need a copy of a credit card processing statement or whatever action you're trying to get them to take, or I need, you're trying to close the deal, they don't want to have anything to do with it, and you can feel them backing away. Why is that? It's because they don't trust you. And I think a lot of times salespeople are not honest with themselves about the reality of sales. There's only 2 reasons people don't buy from you. The first one is that they don't like you, and the second one is that they don't trust you. And so if you want to be good at sales, people have to like you and they have to trust you. And so that likability comes in at the beginning. That's like you're walking in off the street, you're making a great first impression, and you can look at other videos I have about that. But today I want to talk about building trust. So here we go. Ready? 4 ways for you to build trust with a potential prospect, with a merchant, with a business owner. Number 1, gather information from them. Now think about this for a second. You only share information with people that you trust. Okay? Now the interesting thing about that though is that model actually can flip and work the other way. In other words, people you share information with, you end up trusting. Okay? So the idea is the more information that you share with me, the more you trust me, because it's this implied trust where I got you to share information with me, so that creates trust from you. Like, hey, I already shared this information with this guy, I must really trust him. So how do you do that? When you walk into a business, make sure you get information. You should walk in and, when I walk into a business, I say, hey, my name is James Shepard, how are y'all doing today? Yes, I say y'all. I'm in central Pennsylvania, Altoona, and so I say the word y'all. Okay, what does it mean? I don't know what it means, but that's what I say, okay? So I say, hey, how y'all doing today? And I give them the big handshake, and I say, you know what? I've never even been in here before. This looks like such a great business. How long have you been here? Oh my, we've been here for, 12 years. Wow, that's amazing. What's your passion? I mean, what made you want to start a Mexican restaurant? What made you want to start this auto repair shop? And they say, well, my dad was always in the business, my mom was always in the business, or you know what, I was working a job and I wasn't fulfilled, or whatever it is. And they share their passion with me. And then I ask them some other questions. Hey, I'm a local business owner in the area myself, and I'm just kind of curious, what do you think about the business climate here in our community? I mean, is there anything you'd like to see different? So I have these conversations initially with the business owner, and what that does is that creates trust because they've shared information with me. Number 2, you share information with them, okay? It works exactly the same way, but the idea is if you want them to trust you, you have to share information with them. And so I like to share information. I always like to throw in at least one kind of personal detail throughout the day. So if I can throw in one personal detail about whatever, hey, did you make it over to the high school game? I took my daughter there last night. I have a 5-year-old daughter now. I have a 5-year-old, and we had a great time together. Sharing information like that helps people to trust you because they're like, okay, this is another business owner in the community. This is somebody that I can trust. This is a real person. Too many salespeople come across as, unfortunately, phony, fake, and many times it's really not any of those things. It's just that the salesperson is nervous and they don't know what they're talking about, and so they jump into their pitch without sharing any information. So look for opportunities to ask questions and to share information. Don't overshare, right? Nobody likes the overshare person, like too much information. I didn't need to know that. But you want to share some information about yourself, and that'll really help people to trust you, not just like you, all right? Next, number 3. Number 3 is to identify. Identify. Business owners primarily enjoy doing business with, wait for it, other business owners. That's who they want to talk to. They want to talk to other business owners. Why? Because that's somebody they identify with, and we trust people that we identify with, okay? There are things in your life that are unique to you, and when you meet somebody who shares that uniqueness, you have a natural trust built up with that person before you even really talk to them at all. It's just as soon as you find out that information about them and you're like, wow, that person does this. It's like, okay, I can identify with them and I'm going to trust them. And so you say, well, how do I do that? The way you do that is you need to stop looking at yourself as a salesperson. You need to become a business owner. Read business books. Okay, learn things about business. Read books on, bookkeeping, marketing, employee relations, retailing, how to run a restaurant. There are industry magazines you can get on pizza shops and become a small business expert. Learn about small business, and you'll be able to identify. Also, I've talked about this in a recent podcast episode. You want to grow your vision, have a bigger vision. Talk about not just I'm out here selling for XYZ processing company, and I hope you'll buy from me. No. You say, hey, you know what? I'm a young businessman. I just started in the community. I'm looking to become much larger. I want to hire people. I want to build a big office. Right now, I'm just a one-man show. What tips do you have for me about building a business here in the local community? And ask questions like that. And what that does is that shares information about you, that you're a business owner. Talk about your vendor relations. Talk about how you've been able to cut costs, whatever it is. Again, don't overshare. This entire information sharing thing and identifying and all that, this whole process takes like a minute or two. It's not like this long, drawn-out conversation. It can be, but usually it lasts a couple minutes. It's just you ask them some questions. They say something back, you share a little information, you talk about how you're a business owner, they identify with you, and then you move on to the presentation, okay? Now, one last thing I want to give you, and I actually didn't share this on Snapchat, which is where I originally posted this content, is that what you want to do, the fourth thing is you want to make sure you are validating yourself with others. Validating yourself with others. Now, this is something I think new salespeople really miss out on, and it's a shame that they do that because you have to be validated by outside sources. And you might say, well, I'm new, I don't have any other clients, what am I going to do? I can't go in there and say, hey, I have all these clients because I don't have these clients. That's okay, you don't have to have that. What you have to have is somebody else who trusts you. Okay? Who else trusts you? Hopefully somebody, right? Your previous boss maybe? Did you do a good job at that? Have they written you a LinkedIn recommendation? Okay, print that LinkedIn recommendation out and hand it to people when you walk into the business, and talk to them about that. Hey, I'm all about honesty and integrity. Here's a recommendation from my last boss. Maybe it's your pastor. Maybe it is your, whatever, a business associate that you have. Doesn't matter. You've got to get some people who recommend you. And again, the idea is validating trust by saying, I am trustworthy because this other person trusts me and so should you. And so if you want to build trust, you've got to validate. So if you say, James, I feel like I'm the most likable person. I'm out there in my marketplace. Everybody loves me, but nobody is buying from me. I'm not closing any deals. Well, first of all, I would say, are you closing? Are you trying to close for sure? Or are you letting people off the hook? But if you're trying to close and then they're backing away, no, I'm not interested or whatever, ask yourself a couple questions about trust. Are you sharing information? Are they sharing information because you're asking insightful questions? Are you identifying with them by becoming a small business expert? And are you validating yourself by at least being able to mention or show some type of proof that other people trust you? That's 4 ways that you can get prospects to trust you more and to take action that you want them to take. My name is James Shepard. Hope you enjoyed this video. Visit us online,